Hi, friends and family, and welcome to anyone who is new here. You are now friends. Um, just want to welcome you back to another update with my journey living with cancer and sickle cell. My last video was an update on starting chemo treatment for therapy related cancer. In specific called MDS. I'm still not going to repeat that word because I still can't say it properly. So if you just Google MDS, just know, in short, it is a type of blood cancer that I developed from having therapy for myeloma in the past. Yes. And I was also taking a chemo drug, a mild chemo drug called hydroxycarbamide for sickle cell, both of which was doing really well up until I was given a maintenance drug called lenalidomide for the myeloma treatment. This, in combination with hydroxycarbamide, made my bone marrow very unhappy. So my bloods were going up and down, results to do with hemoglobin, platelets, neutrophils, all of that was just all over the place. And towards the end of last year, had me in and out of A&E, just trying to figure out what's going on. So after having a bone marrow biopsy again, this was the result. They found out that I've developed this therapy-related cancer, which they now needed to immediately give me chemotherapy for. Way! Anyhow, I started chemo, and thankfully I was also having bloods and platelets every 2 weeks. God has provided 2 super veins, let me tell you, for this entire process. So chemo, it came in a form of 2 injections, which are given in the stomach or in the arm. One of which, oh my goodness, was just angry. My arm is still bruised to this day. And so is my skin, actually, all around wherever the sites were. But that's minor when you really check it, because this medication is supposed to be helping me fight this cancer that is attacking my body yet again. So let's go with what the plan was. So the plan was to have 3 cycles of chemotherapy. The short was called AZA. I'll put up what the actual word is. It's too much to remember to pronounce all of these things. I was also being given an injection that would help my hemoglobin to stay up, so that hopefully I wouldn't have to have too many blood transfusions, because that can also cause an iron overload, as some of you may or may not know. So that drug, in short, is called EPO. Now, after the first 7 days of chemo, I noticed bone pain, especially in the joints, coming into my body. Now, I had developed osteoarthritis. Yes, another thing on the list. During just after transplant, I noticed it was getting increasingly worse the moment they gave me lenalidomide. I wasn't able to connect the 2 things at the time, but as soon as I was taken off lenalidomide towards the end of last year, those pains actually went away. And it's interesting, isn't it? Early osteoarthritis came on as a result of me having sickle cell. It is joint pain, and you can get this from as young as I am, unfortunately. Yeah. So it exacerbated everything. So the result is that I had a word with my oncologist, and we decided, okay, you know what, let's just stop the EPO and maintain giving transfusions every 2 weeks, see how we go. That I thought was going to help. Just saying, yeah. Pain should be a familiar space for me, because I've lived with sickle cell pain, which is undescribable. for my whole life. Now, this joint pain that's turned up in my knees, turned up in my elbows, my shoulders, in my joints, in my hands, next level. Next level. I've now had to start using a walking stick or a cane, and it's not cute. Just saying. It's not cute, you know. I refuse to name it because it's a temporary solution of support right now, and I don't intend for this to be around for very long. So, yes. However, the pain is, yeah, as I said, it just feels like my whole body went stiff. Waking up, or rather, even just getting up from the bed in the mornings could take quite a few minutes. And by the time I muster up the energy to stand tall, I have to sit down again because the pain was so immense. And when I tell you I'm taking opiates at some levels that we don't even want to discuss, and it's like they were doing nothing. So I'm having oral morph with cocodamol, and it's doing nothing. And when I tell you, those medications normally would take me out of a sickle cell pain crisis. So how is it not affecting this joint pain that I'm experiencing? Really? What level of medication is this? Anyhow, EPO, we thought, okay, we'll stop that, and it would probably take a few weeks for it to leave my system and for me to start feeling better. But I wasn't feeling better. So I had to see palliative care for them to review my pain medication. I could no longer go to the gym. I was hobbling around, moving with so much pain that people were starting to see it in my face because it was tremendous. And what we realized is that, you know what, this is actually also a side effect of the chemo drug that they were giving me. So, you know, it is with back and forthing with the different teams to decide what to do about it. So my doctor said, you know, let's stop chemo for a while just to give you back some quality of life. Because it was not a good look. When I tell you everything was on pause, I stretched and pushed myself to travel on a train to Scotland, as some of you may know. But when I tell you the pain I was masking, yeah, it's a good thing I love to smile, because the tears did come. Not many have seen it. But it was getting ridiculous. I think I was more stressed out about why or how to do something about it, yes? So palliative care reviewed my medication, and really my question was, are we trying to get rid of this pain, or is it just to take the edge off? Because what's the aim, right? So I'm being told that, unfortunately, I will always feel pain when I move, but when I'm resting, I shouldn't feel pain. So thankfully, we've achieved that, which is why whenever you see me, I will be on this walking stick because I'm unable to walk unaided at the moment. Super annoying, but, you know, it's my war scars. Come on, man, you're going through the most. So this is a minor. All right, well, so chemo had to be stopped after the first cycle. But what we realized is that my blood works were now improving. Lovely. I have now started communicating with the transplant team in Oxford because they are looking for a donor for me to be able to have a bone marrow transplant. The aim of this was to hopefully eliminate sickle cell and eliminate this new cancer that was developed. Unfortunately, they said it's not the type of treatment they would have recommended for myeloma. So therefore, they really wanted me to have some more treatment for that specifically. So yeah, okay, that's been approved and all lined up and ready to go. But what the doctors are saying is that they will wait to find out when transplant is going to be and work backwards to about 8 weeks and then give me the chemo again leading up to transplant. So, okay, great. I can sort of try to get my life back a little bit in between, just making sure bloods are in the right place and so on. So it's been 2 months, I'd say, of checking my blood results. Hey, so can I just say, when you pray, you must believe what you ask for, because God wants to help you. He helped me. These results just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. My hemoglobin went from the 50s to the 80s. Platelets went from 20s to the hundreds. Neutrophils went right the way up until I was finally given permission to be mingling in crowds and to travel. Like, that's a big deal, because I had resigned myself to being at home and in my very tiny community very carefully for the rest of the year, because the aim was to have transplants sometime in autumn. So, I get a phone call this week. So my doctor says, your results from your last blood test are a little bit excellent. So I say, tell me more. And this is when he tells me the heights at which they're at, and I'm thinking, hey, I have just finished a week of fasting, specifically talking about this whole situation with God and asking for so many things in regards to it. But what I didn't know, I shared it with my sister, and her prayers were slightly different than mine, we've come to learn. We just wanted God to move. We wanted God to move. And I remember the last time my oncologist said to me, you're the one patient I'm not quite sure what to do with. And I said, we're doing too much. We just need to chill for a minute. Let's let God do what he needs to do. And let's just hang back. Let's just see how we go. Yeah? I mean, he was not confident with that, but that's fine. I don't need him to necessarily believe. I know that I believe. I know that God has always been in control. He's the one that's given these doctors the ability to learn the science and all the things. And he's partnered with us in treatment and healing, right? So on my end, I'm trying to do all the things of fixing my diet and just doing better where that's concerned. So I'm just like, you know what? Let's see what God's up to. How about that? So I was not at all surprised when he gave me the phone call to say your bloods are improving so much. However, where I was truly surprised is that he thinks transplant is no longer a solution or an option that he thinks I should have. Sounds negative, right? No. What that means is I am well enough to not have to need transplant. So can I get a praise break right here? Oh, you're not praising, no? Okay, let me carry on. No jokes. Like, wow, God. Just so, yeah? Yes, I'm still having a moment. But I thought, you know what? So many of you have started checking in because I've been so quiet. And thank you. Thanks for doing that. Thank you to all of you who are literally fasting and praying on my behalf. Those of you who are taking me out just to give me a different scenery. Just all the times, all the conversations, all the things. Thank you. Because this has not been an easy road, especially this time around. This time around has felt very quiet, very silent, with a lot of pain. But God is able. We knew he was. We knew he always is. So never doubted, but it's that curiosity of, how's he going to do it this time? I just hope my doctor sees the hand of God in this, because that's what it is. That's what it is. And I'm just so grateful, guys. I may still be in pain, whoever knows for how long. But as I said, they're my war scars, right? Been through it, let me tell ya. It's busy out there. On the warpath, it's busy. But please be encouraged if you're going through something. Talk to the Father, man. He cares, about the smallest of things. He's bothered about you. Yes, what I learnt is that the God who made galaxies knows my name and cares about all the smallest detail. That's deep, Just, man, be encouraged and know that the God you're serving, he's serious about you. He's serious about his kids. So just press on. And when you see me, let's do a little praise dance, because I'm ready to go. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. Yes. All right. I'll see you all soon.